How's it going, guys? Just setting up some music for us here. We'll start the stream officially in a couple minutes. How's it going, guys? Say hi if you're here. What I'm working on today is some stuff for the video tools course. Hey, Mike. I caught the last take of your drum performance, and yeah, sounded good, man. So what I'm working on here is new presets for the video tools course. So the idea for this pack is, for this round of changes, is drag and drop transitions, because Reaper's done video for 5 or 6 years and no one's done that yet. So that's what I'm working on. Basically, you add the effect and you use item fades for the instead of automation. So it's all just based on how long is the fade and what curve are you using. So I'll just add in my effects right now, and I'll show you the thing. I've got 3 of them that work pretty well. One has a bug that I haven't been able to fix, and I just want another set of eyes on it to make sure that I'm not doing something obviously wrong. Yeah, that's about it. I've been working on this for a few days, and it's just like, I know this is simple, it should be working, I think I'm doing everything right, but I'm not the best with math. I don't know. What's in the background? This is backing track. If you look on YouTube Music, Spotify, whatever, backing track is the artist name, and it's royalty-free, stream-safe music. And it's all metal. So, I mean, I would prefer to just play 100% my own music or anything I want, but, you know, just to make sure that there's, you know, it's ad safe or like not going to be region blocked or anything like that. Backing track is pretty good. You still have to curate it. You have to choose, like, I think they've got 6 albums now or something like that, maybe a little bit more than that. But the mastering varies a little bit between the different albums. So I just chose 2 that sound pretty good. All right, so everyone can see this, I hope. So this effect, this first one, is item fades to slide transitions. So here's how it looks. So the top item For the duration of the fade in, it slides from left to right. And then if you're using a fade out, it slides from right to left. Or, yeah, from full screen to the left. Switch it to mode 2, and it does the opposite. It comes in from the right, and it goes back to the right. Mode 3 goes from top to bottom. And then mode 4 goes from bottom to top. Pretty simple stuff, and I think that's a lot easier than using automation. I would prefer automation. I want people to learn automation, but I think a lot of people don't want to learn the automation. And for just something like a clip that comes in, I should also show that in the area where there's no fade, let's do a 1 second fade. It slides in and it just stays full screen until it hits another fade. And if we have, I actually don't know how this reacts to crossfades. Overlap these. Yeah, it actually does work pretty much the same. So that's all good. So that's the first one that I built. That one totally works. The next one is item fades to crop transitions. And again, there's 4 modes. And so instead of sliding the image over, it's actually revealing the image. Kind of a slight difference, but the image is always there and you're just revealing more of it rather than sliding it out from off screen. So again, this one I would say is bug free. Again, left to right, right to left. Mode 3 is top down. And 4 is bottom to top. And I could do more modes, like any of the corners with the same effect. I don't know. Like, what transitions do people actually use when they're making videos? Like, if you use the drag and drop transitions in Premiere, what do people actually use? I don't use any of these types of transitions in my own videos. All right. So this next one is a zoom transition, and this one mostly works. So it zooms in and it zooms out between the different videos. Now, here's a problem. When it gets to the end of the clip, it stops playing the background video. So I don't remember that happening earlier this week. But yeah, that's a bug. But actually, what I'm most concerned about with this is as I go frame by frame, there's a 1 pixel border on one of the sides. So right now it's on the left. I go 1 frame back. It's on the left. Now it's on the top. So I'm not really sure why that's happening. I think I need to do that in another way. But does anyone understand the code? We're taking input track 0 and checking for some info, like what is the source width, source height, and the wet parameter, which wet is just the it's actually the fade or the item volume. A little weird, but yeah. So if wet is less than 1, then get the next input item, and we're going to apply some parameter, apply some things to it, or define some things. And I'm doing it in this way because I want to have modes like these other ones. There's 4 different modes. Well, I guess the zoom one doesn't really need that, because you're always going to zoom from a very small image up to full screen, I think. I guess you could start at full screen, or zoomed in. Oh, I gotta go. Be right back. I got mail. I had to run downstairs to go get it. I have a massive head. What are you talking about? I am programming in EEL2, which is the video processor code, and the what's the other thing? JS plugins. Ah, big brain. No, it's just repetition of trying and failing so many times to learn this stuff. So what I got in the mail, more super clamps. These things are great. Everyone that makes videos should have these. I now have 7 of them. They're expensive, but they're worth it. If you check eBay for Manfrotto lot, you'll find lots of super clamps for like $20 each or so. How old am I? 36. Okay, let's go back to the Mac. What are we doing here? The width calculation is project width times wet, so wet times what's wet right now. Wet is at 2560. That's not project width this time. Wet calculates to 0.76. So 2560 times 0.76 is equal to 1961. Okay. Can you see down at the bottom? It shows what the parameter values are. It's got a 0.95. So what I want to do here is what's the word? Round it down. So you use floor. Okay, save that. And now width will always be a whole number. You can do video effects in Reaper? Yes. Yeah, so what I'm working on right now, if you missed it before, I'm making this zoom in transition that uses item fades. Maybe it's just ending. Huh. This one seems a little buggy, and I'm not sure what it is that is different about this one compared to the previous one. Because when wet gets to 0, it just disappears. Oh, I think I need this on the actual item. Yeah, okay. So if it's on the item, it's fine. So the first idea to fix this stuff so that you're not getting any rounding errors is to quantize everything or round down. So if I quantize my width and height measurements, width and height will always be whole numbers. So 2183, 2228. That seems right, but I bet it's still gonna do that thing where there's a 1 pixel border. I think there is. I don't know. I think it's just on very long transitions you kind of notice it. So let's fade in like 10 seconds. Can you see that? Can you see the problem? There's like this slight sort of rotation, or not rotation, but like shifting up, down, left, right, very slightly. And that's with rounding everything to whole numbers. So that brings us to the position parameters. Oh yeah, it's maddening because I've tried doing this already multiple times. I was thinking maybe the source width. So I'm defining source width here, but I'm actually using them. Instead, I'm using the special parameter of the project width, which is in video settings, these numbers. So I don't know. Yeah, at least it's my own code, but I'm kind of taking code from someone else. I'm taking code from Justin. Let's add in another video processor. So what I'm actually modifying here is the item fades effect. Where is it? Item fades effect video. What I'm making here is a modification of this. So, and I'm not sure if I missed something. I've made so many different presets of this that I may have missed something. Because the other ones work on the track, and this one doesn't work on the track anymore. So all this one does, if we bypass my code, what this one does is do a opacity change. And that one works flawlessly. And I know a lot of people use that one for video. So I just want a few other transitions because, you know, that sort of overlay, the crossfade between things doesn't always look great, or it doesn't always convey the right thing. So X and Y are whole numbers there. because I'm using quantized numbers here. Project width minus project width divided by 2. Is there a better way of saying that? I want half the project width and subtract that from the project width. I feel so stupid not knowing a better way to say that. Bought a Lua coding course special for expanding my opportunities in Reaper. Yeah, that's a great idea. I think Lua is definitely a good one to learn. A lot of the documentation for Reaper specifically kind of assumes that you already understand Lua outside of what you can do with Reaper, and that's something that I've always had trouble with. Do I recommend using Reaper for video editing? I prefer it because of the extensive audio editing options, and the ability to make your own effects and stuff is just fun. Being able to create your own workflow is great. If you want to customize everything about Reaper, you can, but if you go to Resolve or something like that, there's keyboard shortcuts you can change, but there's not really like, you can't add in your own code to change things. And I've had problems with that like Resolve. It runs completely different if you have 2 monitors, and I think only recently they added the option to full screen a preview window, where with Reaper, it handles all my files perfectly, and I can have a full screen preview with no lag. Like, it just works for me. It doesn't work for everyone. And if you are not super comfortable with Reaper already, then it's not going to be a good fit. But for me, I was using Reaper for probably 5 years, and then they added video editing, and I was having a hell of a time with my other video editing software at the time. And yeah, I just dove in and started building presets and figuring stuff out, and it ended up working out really well for me. The big thing was like not having to go between 2 different apps to like I could edit the video in one app, and then I have to export the audio. And as I'm going through the audio to improve it, I find a glitch or something I need to change the timing of. And I'm gonna go back to the video, re-export the audio. It's just like back and forth so many times because those other video editing apps don't have good VST support and good automation ability for audio effects. Just not even showing accurate waveform, things like that. So those are the things that keep me with using Reaper. So this code here, these lines, what they do is keep the image centered as it's zooming in. Without this, it would start from the corner and zoom in. Yeah. So I think actually the glitch is this number here, because it's trying to keep the same aspect ratio, and so it's adding 1 pixel wherever the width and height aren't even numbers. I think. What codec do I use? Codec for PC. Use VLC for playback decoding, and when you're rendering, use FFmpeg. There's links on my website for all that stuff. So does anyone spot anything wrong here that can help me out with this? If I set this to 0, so it's not going to keep the same aspect ratio, this might avoid that issue, but I might still have the same glitch. I don't know, does that look better? It's more subtle. I guess that's it. I think that actually solved it. Okay, let's turn these off and see how that looks. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. Well, that was simple. It was like one line. Plus the... I must not have tried that before without constraining the aspect ratio and rounding down. I tried rounding all the numbers before, and that didn't work. Okay. What controls the speed of the zoom? The length of the fade. So if the fade is... get this at the start. And there's that 1 second. So we've got controls over time by how long the fade is and the shape of the fade. All right, I'm going to call this one fixed. Unless I want to try to reverse it. Is there music playing in the background? Yes, this is, it's called backing track. It's made by a streamer named Ice Orb, I think, and Epos Fox. I don't have like a website for it. Maybe I do. Let me check. Where's my browser window? Backingtrack.gg. I'm just playing that in Reaper on another computer. I've got my Mac for work and my PC for streaming. Cool. So I'll save that. And rename it. All right. This next one that I'm working on is item fades to pan. And what that means is that if you have an overlay image and you want it to start zoomed in and then move up. Is this working? Yeah, I got the centering off on this. All right, so the headphones should working. I don't think it's working. So what this is supposed to do is start zoomed in and then kind of scroll up or down or whatever, based on the length of it. I'm gonna freeze frame this one so it doesn't move. And then this will be just a 5-second clip with a fade in. So it works for that. Let's do a fade out. So it starts zoomed in by a factor of 1.4. And then it scrolls to the top of the image, or it's supposed to be the top of the image, but I think my math is wrong on it. And I know that it's wrong because when I zoom out, it's not doing what I expect. I don't know. But to be honest, I don't really want to work on this one. It mostly works, but it's not great. And then mode 2 goes horizontally. And if you're going horizontally, I think you want no. That's the problem. It's supposed to center things, and it's not. It's basically like Ken Burns effect. So mode 1 and zoom factor of 1.4. Thank you for all the kind words, guys. Encouragement and stuff like that. You don't have to say that stuff, but it is appreciated. All right, so this is saying if the input track is not input 0, no, is if it's larger than 0, then check for the input info, which is input info 0 is input number, width, height, source time, parameter. Right, and then I'm defining a new number here. Source width is project width times zoom. And then I'm using that number down here. So in this line, you can see that GFX split basically means draw the result of this code. So so input 0 is, it's this itself, essentially. Keeping the same aspect ratio. We're going to quantize the X position, which is, in this case, it's minus 914. Don't think that's right, but maybe it is. Floor just rounds it down. You can use ceiling or seal to round up. And then source width and source height. So this is how wide is the image. You can also add in an additional X, Y, and SRCH for a second line here, or a second set of parameters here does the original source, and you're using this if you're ever cropping things. So you need to see the original source position and subtract it from the current position. Kind of weird. Yeah, Mike, I would love for shawarma. Something like that. I want like sandwich with spicy meat and lots of garlic sauce. Okay, so project width times zoom. Zoom is this parameter. Where am I using wet in the parameter? Okay, so wet is the automatic fade. Possible to increase or decrease the overall view in Reaper? View of what? Waveform height? Track height? Size of everything? Alright, I'm just going to change some of these. Probably not going to make much of a difference, but... I'm probably just changing these to the same thing, but... it helps my brain understand it. I'm not doing that. Wherever it says project width, I'm replacing with source width. If it says project height, I'm changing it to source height. So ideally, this will work with any aspect ratio, and like I can see this being used for photos and things. So without too much trouble, I want to be able to just have someone add this effect. Maybe choose the zoom amount and which direction it moves, and just, you know, move on to the next thing. And not have to worry about too much at all. So I think this to width and this to height. I think this code here is kind of weird. So it's source width divided by double the zoom, subtracted from 0. So there's got to be a better way to say that. Whole DAW view percentage. Yeah, kind of. Like, you can increase each part of the theme from theme adjuster. So like if I take my transport bar, which is at the top here, it's at 100% now, I can change to 150 or 200. Track control panel, so for the selected one, I can change that to 100%, which is huge. It's kind of throwing me off what I was trying to do, but one more thing. Under Preferences, General, Advanced UI, you can change the scaling of everything here up to 3x. This is not really recommended, but if you want everything smaller, it's about like smaller than 100%, then this is pretty much the only way to do it. And I think you have to restart Reaper for that to take effect. Drew says, really enjoying this. Yeah, thank you. I thought this would be really boring, but if anyone likes it, that's cool. But I've been staring at this stuff for like a couple days, and I just feel dumb. But I don't know. It feels like it's worth doing at the same time. So just keeping going on it. And Sonia says, possible to use external code editor for coding your own effects? Yeah, so any plain text editor or code editor can be used. Video processor has the code editor built in, like the JS effects and things like that. But you could just use another editor, but you'd have to constantly copy, paste, and paste it in. At least with the case of the video editor. Every time you save it, it updates the code and you can see the result immediately, so that's why I stick with this. Wish you can make it to 80%. Yeah. Change the scale to 0.8. Right here, so 0.8 should do it. Probably not gonna change until I reset, but yeah. I think it did apply anyways. Unless my eyes are just weird from opening, closing, and zooming in. Yeah, it did. It did work. This is what 80% looks like. I don't really like 80%. Yeah. Cool. So like, this effect does work, at least through the length of the fade, but I think this is zoomed in too much. If I have the zoom factor of 1, it should be centered. So what I'm missing is what? Keep it centered, you have to take the width of the item by half the width of the item, and subtract it from the X position, I think. I'm getting confused the more I think about this. So if I do source width, now if I do project width divided by 2, minus source width divided by 2. If I zoom in though, it's not readjusting that. I feel like the corner is locked there. I've made this exact calculation so many times before for things, but I'm just getting stumped on it right now. So like, where's one I did it before? Like this one. Is it? No. I think the text overlay. If I increase the size, it stays in the center. Exposition times project width minus text width. Okay, so what am I doing wrong here? I'm doing project width, half the project width, subtract. Probably too far away from my icon. Didn't finish renaming source width and source height. Okay, I'm ignoring this one for now. Yeah. So I'm collecting information from the source in this one. I'm using it here to get this new number. You know, I might want to use this here. Also, I should fix this one if I'm doing that. Oh, is that doing it? That seems like it's centered now. Okay. Okay, so there's an issue I don't want. At the bottom, like at the end of the fade, I don't want there to be a gap. So you actually have to crop in quite a lot. I'm gonna do that. I don't know if that's any different. Possible to change the scale of only VSTs. If you're having that many problems with it, it's probably more your Windows scaling settings. Let me guess, it's a 4K monitor. And you have Windows set to something other than 100%. There is a setting. What is it? Okay. One sec. So in same window, other system, Windows has this option for high DPI. And yeah, there's all these different options. I've got mine on multi-monitor V2 experimental, but you're gonna have to try out these different options. About all I can say. I know I have something on the website about that. I don't know. This stuff has changed so many times, and I don't have a high DPI monitor on my Windows to really explore it at all. So you're a bit on your own for that. Okay, so you're at 100%, but the VSTs are showing bigger. Yeah, it could be the high DPI setting. The whole high DPI and scaling thing is a mess on every system to some degree. Like Mac has the Retina thing where it's essentially double the resolution, but on Windows it's kind of different. So you could have a 4K monitor that's large, that's not high DPI, or you could have a small 4K monitor, and that would be high DPI because it's the amount of pixels per inch. Yeah, so there's a bunch of things that affect how big something is on the screen, and how the operating system and every piece of software agrees to use that information or to set things. Okay, so it's not cropping off the left and right anymore, but this is... I think part of this not working is because it's already the same size as the window. I don't know. Yeah, this is not zooming in centered anymore. Just keep making it worse. Need some suggestions for where I'm going wrong with this. So the Y position is, if I want it to be centered, so 0 would be the top left corner, and so what would that be? I'm increasing the size of the image by the zoom factor via H. Can I use just H? Does that work? I don't think so. I use -H. Nope. Can I use 0 minus h? No. Can I do... 0 minus h divided by 2. Okay, so it can see I'm definitely putting it off screen by too much. Minus 720. I don't know. I might have to give up on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna give up on this one for a bit, because I haven't seemed to make it better than it was. Better than my first attempt. Alright, so I'll show you some other effects that I'm planning on putting into the course. Get rid of the text generator. Alright. So this just creates like glitchy text. I filled it in with some numbers automatically, but yeah, just kind of like deep fries. Okay. It's a pretty simple one. I've got a random text generator. Kind of neat. Change the font. It's essentially... What is this actually doing? I don't remember. I'm making it output some text using this stuff, which is character format. I'm getting 3 numbers, 3 random numbers, and then I'm merging the 3 with the catenate function here, and then it's outputting that centered on the screen or adjustable position. And these numbers always change no matter like if you move the cursor, if you press play, if you move any of the parameters, it's always going to generate new numbers. It generates a new number per frame. Anyone have suggestions for this one? It's, I don't know. It's interesting, I guess. Probably put colors in here. Alright, so for those that don't know about the parameters, I'm defining the name of the parameter to be used in the code, which is just going to be R. And then within the single quotes, that's the parameter name for the knob. And then I'm setting the default. The default is the double click position for the knob. And setting the minimum to 0, setting the maximum to 255. I'm setting the center point, which is 123. That half? 127, isn't it? 127 is half of 256. And then I'm using the unit amount. Is that right? Param default, minimum, maximum, middle. Middle makes it so that when the knob is pointed directly up, that's the whatever position you're setting that for. And then the unit size is going to be 1 for this. So I'm going to cut this. And I'm going to put this after the here. Duplicate that a couple times, and then make this one's green and this one blue. And then with that, you can pretty much get any color you want. And so 6, 7, and 8 are the parameters. I'll save it. You can see the parameters appeared here on the left. I'm not using them yet in the code, so that's going to be down here. GFX set, so this is setting the colors. They've been hard-coded to 1, 1, 1, and 1. So we're going to change this one to R, G, B. And if I wanted to change the opacity, it would be the next number. Yeah. Yeah. Then if I save it, I can make this red by turning the green and the blue all the way down. There we go. Actually, those colors are not... Why are those not working right? Is it because... Okay. Yeah, I think it's just because I've got this in there twice. Okay, get rid of this. No errors. Why are they all black? String X, Y. So X is there, Y is there. Red, green, blue, 1. Oh, that's because these need to be divided by 256. Nope, I'm still doing something wrong. What's going on? I guess it's just... don't know. I divided by 256 instead of 255. Color's not changing. I think the last parameters for function input should be the color values. I'm setting it in the drawstring here, so I think I'm doing this right. X, Y, and then the colors red, green, blue. Is it because I also have the comma 1 there? Yeah, it's not changing. No, still not. Where am I setting the text here? Alright, I'm just gonna copy this. I don't know what I did. Copy. I'll just use the same parameters. EXTR. It disappeared. That's bizarre. Not working. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty similar to what I have in this other code that does work. In this line, I'm not defining the colors, but I'm defining the colors here. It's divided by 255 so that you can use hex code. And this will convert it to decimal. There's nowhere else. So this is the background color. This is the drop shadow color. Probably something very simple I'm missing. And then the actual I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. I'm not reusing the same numbers. The only difference here is that I don't have the default at 127. The FGA transparency. Yeah, I'm not using that, but I will set that to 1. Good catch. That was it. I'm sure I had that before, but yeah, good catch. I don't know if it's... Is that working? Yeah, is it? Alright, I expect to see red, only black, green. Yeah, that was it. Thank you so much. It probably would have taken me another 10 minutes to figure that one out. Alright. So there we go. There's random text with selectable color, and it'll default to white. Save. All right. Glitch blocks does this effect. It just randomly corrupts a section of the video, and it will do different blending modes depending on if you have this on a MIDI item or not. So here's on an empty MIDI item. So mode 1 basically puts it on top, just generates a block. 2 will multiply. 3 is whatever mode 17 is. I can't remember. I never remember what that is. I don't know. Whatever you would call that. Destination plus source times opacity times 0.5 plus 0.5. Whatever that means. All I know is that it has an effect. In this case, it basically doesn't make a colored thing, but it does a black bar. Mode 4 is another weird one. And mode 5, 6 are weird ones. So with this, you can set the maximum size of the blocks, but it's always going to create a random number from 0 to your maximum. So set this on the lowest, it's just going to be very subtle. 30 by 10. Can't really even see anything. Those little glitch grains. I don't know. Just a weird effect I came up with. Alright, and then another one where instead of randomizing the color as well, you can choose your own color. So, let's do one of those. Copy that, make it blue only. Alright, we'll make it green only first. And another one. It's blue only. Yeah. Something like that. Got a bunch of different glitch processors. The problem I'm having with these is that they don't render the same as you see them in the video. So like, these are some pretty cool effects, but when you export the video, it doesn't look like that. I was annoyed by this one because this is like this weird sort of dreamy slow motion kind of effect, but it doesn't export. probably have to talk to Justin about making it so that when I break something on purpose, that it actually exports exactly as you see it. Drew, you're absolutely right. It is a pain. When I update my preset pack, I'm going to have to export all the presets, remove some manually from the text file, or else, like, any of my work in progress ones that I don't want to share, I have to, like, delete from the list and then export them all. Yeah, you can't export a single one. Yeah, you can export a preset library, but it does all of them, and then you have to modify them. Otherwise, it just copy and paste the code. For like my bundle, everything from here up is already in the course, and then these are all the new ones that I'm working on. But as long as the users haven't modified these ones, I can just give them a new preset thing, and if it's already there, it will just overwrite or merge. Does Reaper use FFmpeg under the hood for video effects processing? Not... well, sort of. You can. Keystrokes from other... Yeah? Why did that pop up? Odd. Oh yeah, I reset my preferences. Does FFmpeg... Okay, so technically it uses its own video engine for processing. But it also uses whatever you set in video page here. So you can have VLC, FFmpeg, QuickTime, or AV Foundation on Mac, and on Windows it's VLC or FFmpeg. And I would always choose VLC. It seems to just play everything really well. Yeah, and when you're exporting videos on Windows, pretty much only use FFmpeg, the separate download version. And on Mac, the AV Foundation one built in to the Mac works really well. So these are my settings. Scott the Bun is here. Welcome, Scott. Oh, is it possible to use other filters? No, even with the exporting a video, you can't modify the FFmpeg settings. It's been frequently requested. I'm not sure why they haven't implemented that. I guess it's probably think it's going to cause more problems than it solves. Yeah, I wish this effect would export correctly. I love these weird effects like this. Absolutely, like, dank memes. So this one just... it's generating a position for a horizontal line, and it's changing the blending mode of just that section. I think is kind of an interesting effect. And you can change the modes, and you can change the height of the line. I haven't streamed in a long time, Scott. I know you stream all the time, and Yeah, I don't join. I don't watch all of your streams because I still don't have a baritone guitar. I don't even play my regular guitars very much anymore. So, got to get back into a good habit of playing more. Yeah, the video effects stuff, I think it's just a hobby for Justin. So it's never going to, like, you know, become the focus of Reaper or anything like that. I can already do pretty much everything that I want with Reaper for editing. And, like, the limitations kind of make things more interesting for me. Yeah, this is all just fun. And, you know, doesn't take time away from the devs. People that want special effects can code their own. I just wish this exported the way it looks. All right, so this is how it looks in project. And export this to the desktop. You see, even there, it looks totally different. That works. That one works okay. Processor 1. No, processor 2 is where the one I really wanted to work. This drunk effect. So it does something completely different when you export it. That was that one. The effects end up looking very similar once you export it. And I know it's just because I'm doing things wrong. There's almost nothing happening in this code, right? What is the input track? Give me some information about the input. Don't resize it. Set the graphics to white, and alpha is A. So we're setting the alpha to like 0.2 and the mode as 0. And I'm looping the input. Just keep looping every frame, repeat it. And we're changing the opacity. Like, I don't know. Like, the code is broken, but it gets me the effect that I want. Yeah. Like, it does this weird, like, dreamy, drunk effect, and I want it to look exactly like that, but it won't export like that. So that's one of the things, like, oh, great, I got 6 cool effect presets that I can share. And then when I export them, they look totally different. All right, let's export starting from outside of the item. Yeah, but I think a lot of these are based on the same presets, but I'm just using different starting points and different blend modes. But when you export it, it's still the same looping code. I think I need to do something like put it into a buffer, then apply a setting, and then write the buffer. But I'm not smart enough to do that. Will be a VOD on this. So we're planning to do a tutorial at one point. if I can get these working, these will be part of the course. Any of, like right now, any of the presets that I can get working like in the next week will go into a video. A new video tutorial for part of the Reaper video tools course. You get all these presets for the video processor, not these 3, but pretty much all these other ones. Yeah, and then video tutorials. I already did one tutorial today on a not really a new effect, but it's just something that I've approached in a different way. Yeah, there's some bug with FFmpeg that sometimes it exports with no sound. It's been really tricky to nail down like the exact version that works with Reaper. It used to be very simple, and then that website stopped existing. So let me try to find it. So like if you go to FFmpeg.org, there's tons of links here, but I wouldn't trust any of these, to be honest. I've tried both of these myself. They don't work for me. You go to my website, find FFmpeg for Reaper users. You can get the one here, which is the archive.org link, or Tormy Van Kool has is on the same one on GitHub. So this site doesn't exist anymore, but this is an archive of it. You want to use 4.3.1 for Windows 64-bit and shared, and then download that. And that should work for exporting on Reaper, and I'll show you my Windows video export settings. So like 1080p, oh, wrong one. Use these settings here. I can't zoom in, but, oh wait, I can't zoom in. There. Hopefully you can see that clearly. Yeah, reconverting anything that's multiple steps, I hate it. It makes me not want to do it at all. I don't know if I answered your question, Albert, but yeah, this will be public after. And I'm just gonna keep going probably until my family comes home today. I haven't been able to stream or make videos or anything for a while, and whether it's me not wanting to or just too many interruptions, like, I don't know. Now that we've got the ball rolling on a video or a live stream, keep it going. All right. Yeah, 5 and 6 are all, I think 2, 5, and 6 are all kind of the same glitch effect. What was the other one? Gradient fill. All right. So, you guys ever look at the preset for stage lighting? I think it was called stage lighting. Well, I finally, after many years, like 5 years, finally figured out how to read the gradient processing. It was simpler than I expected, but it was still, took me like a day to figure it out. So gradient color fill. I've got my preset starting at 0, or not at 0, at gray. You can change the brightness of that, and then we're going to add in color to that. So we can add in red, green, blue, which obviously makes white when you blend them. We can also subtract. If you subtract red, that's going to bring out teal and blue and bring out the opposite color, essentially. Right, so that's on the X parameter. So that's left to right. The Y parameter is bottom to top. And then we can adjust the offset. So we can kind of shift it all up and down. When you combine them, left and right, it does this. Which took me forever to figure out. Especially because I was using values that were way too big at first. Like my adjustment size here, I don't know if you guys can see this. 0.001 or even lower. In order to get usable color ranges. Because what I didn't understand with this code here, this code, like, it's basically like fill a rectangle of this size and change the colors for each pixel by this amount. So, yeah, for every pixel, what is it? So this is like the starting point, the background color, and then we're changing every pixel from left to right by some amount, and then every pixel in from the top down, I think it is, by this amount. So that's why you need very tiny amounts, or it's actually has a very bizarre change. So let's change RDX, just change it by 1. You get this sort of effect if you change it by 1. So, and if you change this one by 1, you get this sort of effect. Where I guess the parameters overload or something. It's very strange. You wouldn't expect it to do this. You would expect it to stop it once it gets to white. But yeah, once I figured out that I needed extremely small parameter values, it was pretty simple to actually make something useful. So actually, if we make this, I'm trying to remember how to use this exactly. All right, there's a gradient from black to white, and you can scale it left and right. And I'll reset those, and then do the opposite, or the same thing with white. Oh, there's also an opacity adjustment for letting through the other image. So yeah. This is pretty much using like every parameter, using 15 out of 16 parameters, 14 parameters, something like that. So a little more complicated, but ultimately it was pretty simple to implement because it's only this much code. The rest is just parameters. Have to paint front wall white and then start projecting ambience on it with that. I don't know what you mean, but I'll go off on a tangent anyways. On Amazon, in the deal store, frequently they have projectors for like $100. Maybe not $100. I'll search for mini projector. Yeah, things like this. I was thinking of getting one of these and using this like instead of lights and just project images on my face or on the background behind me. There's a used one here for $50. I don't trust this one that's so small. There was a Film Riot video. Let me search for Film Riot. They did a thing on projectors recently. It was like a sponsored video or something like that. Where is it? I think it was this lighting effects. I think this is a really cool effect. Which is, yeah, all done with a projector. So I was just gonna do the low budget version of that. I think it'd be pretty cool. I always want to try one of those because they are pretty inexpensive. But I guess the trade-off is probably that they're very loud, like loud fan or something. I kind of want to like have one for watching videos in bed. Just like have it mounted to the headboard so it hits the ceiling, and I just lie down and watch a show. But I bet the speaker sounds really bad, and there's a fan that's really loud, and I don't want it to like blow hot air on my face as I'm trying to like watch TV before bed. Okay, so I think I've gone through everything that's new. I guess since we've still got people here, I'll show you what I did a video on today for the chorus. I could probably quickly recreate it. So let's grab some images. All right, so starting off with this image here. This was iPhone photo of the sidewalk, and I limited the color range to just black and white. Then I selected the white and deleted it. So it's just this black texture. I'm going to import that. And then crop this down to just 2 frames. And on this track, we'll add in video processor, enable the, I'm going to do this in the order that I need the effects, but not the order that you would probably do it. Invert colors and preserve RGB. Add in another video processor. We're going to put on the, what's it called? Image overlay. Around here somewhere. Image overlay, right? So we've got this texture. And then I'm going to duplicate. And then this one, source properties. Change this transform to vertical flip and then duplicate, source properties, change this to horizontal flip, duplicate, source properties, change this to rotate 180, and OK. And then I'm going to select all of those and just duplicate a few times. Yeah, it's like 5 seconds. So if we play that back, we got this moving kind of grunge texture. All right, so now I will add in empty MIDI item, add in another video processor. I'm going to bring up the texture overlay preset. I'm going to put in a nice chunky sort of text like bungee, and change the name of this item to video title. Okay. So now I've got that. I'm going to get rid of the drop shadow, and I'm going to make the text color black. So yeah. Then I'm going to add in another video processor and add in the preset from my pack called, where is it? Light and screen overlay, and invert it to -1. And let's make that text a bit bigger. And loop it. Now we got this sort of effect. I think that's a cool effect. So I did a little tutorial on that for part of the course. But yeah, so it's a little bit complicated to set that up, but you can template that. If you didn't animate texture, you could just have any sort of other video underneath that. Let's do, oh yeah, and the invert colors thing, I turn that off. Why isn't that? I think I put the invert colors after. I don't remember. Oh yeah. What you can do is, if you want that not black and white, you can add in the colorize preset, which is on FX colorize, and then you can change the hue. What do you think? Cool preset or a cool effect? I think it's pretty cool. Hey, we're out of music again. Small and cheap projectors are usually quiet, but they're only good for projecting ambience and other non-specific stuff. Yeah. It's beautiful, but what? Want them to overlay it on another image rather than black. Yeah, so let's see. You want the texture on the text only. I think I can do that. I think then we need the other or another instance of the light and screen overlay. Oh, that does that though. Well, doing that brings back the original video. It is tricky without being able to do clipping masks and things like that. Rotoscoping, that sort of stuff. But it is an effect like you could export this, get rid of that. Export this as an image or video, I mean. Yeah, chroma key can work too. Alright, so I'm gonna get some different B-roll. Let's do... Get this nebula stuff. Yeah, just put that underneath. Oh, these video effects tend to affect everything else above it, so... I'll grab that video from desktop. Drop that in. And then on this one, I need that, I need one of these image... No, I need light and screen. I need to adjust on this. That sort of works. I don't know. Using a green background instead of black. It's similar, yeah. Oh, there we go. That's kind of working. And then it glitched at the end. Cut off the last frame. I don't know, it's interesting. I think a lot of people don't expect that you can do anything like this. Yeah, for such a basic... just knowing what the effect is and how to, like, what's actually happening. You can pretty much do anything, but it's just a matter of coding a lot of stuff or stacking effects. Okay. All right, so as I said earlier, when the family gets here, then we'll quit, and that has happened. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks to my, no, wrong button, this one. My patrons and my YouTube members. These guys really help out keeping everything running. Thank you guys so much for watching, commenting, sharing videos, being a part of the community on Facebook and on Discord. It's really awesome. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in